Welcome back to My Hero Academia Anime Review, episode number 21. This one I'm reviewing the My Hero Academia anime film, Two Heroes. Yep, yeah, the film that I saw tonight, I figured I wanted to do a review of it. It is part of the series, and according to the creator, this movie is canon, taking place between seasons 2 and 3, mostly between uh, before the field trip arc and after the end of season 2. Mostly just fills in a little gap. The story for this one is that All Might and Midoriya have been invited to this artificial island known as Island. Yes, it's a man-made island in the middle of nowhere. When I got a chance to see the movie, I finally got into the movie. It was basically 10 minutes in, so basically by the time I got into there, they had already just met Melissa Shield, who's one of the three characters, three new characters part of the movie. She did, in fact, appear in the episode of the anime. This was in a filler episode. Well, actually, it was an email that All Might got. Yeah, Melissa had invited him to the island because her father had basically passed the first phase of his project, and she wanted to have him basically to celebrate with him. Of course, we also get a chance to see his backstory with the guy. Yep, David Shield. Well, apparently, and it's revealed by Midoriya that he was the one who pretty much made All Might's costumes. Every single one that's been showed off in the series. And he's also pretty much responsible for making all the special tech that he uses. So yeah, pretty much this is the guy behind the scenes for All Might. And he does know about All Might's non-muscular form. He knew about that. He does not know about the lineage of the All for One. The One for All. He does not know of it. Yeah, they never reveal it. They do when they first have Melissa meet Midoriya. They show in the anime, they show in this film that she's actually taller than he is, and then eventually, it was father. Of course, he knows like who he is. Of course, geeking out, seeing him, basically trying to be very polite, and then David just tells Melissa like, give him a tour of the island. All Might and I would like to talk. Okay. And she refers to All Might as Uncle Might. My personal guess is that David Shield, he must have made All Might Melissa's godfather. Yeah, that's probably that. Probably it. Shows on the island, shows like this expo hall, and then they run into Or Gravity. Yep, and then they run into Earjack, Creative T. They also run into the electric guy, Pop Off, and they hear some. Oh yeah, they also run into that was from the Shudo and the Genium. And then they hear some explosions, and it's the Harden guy and Bakuto. Yep. It's like, yeah, you know those people? Yeah, they're my classmates. And probably one of the best scenes, of course, they all get invited to a party later, and they all dress in formal gear and formal wear. Now, in the case of, for me personally anyways, I had already seen Ingenium, Midoriya, Shudo, and Creativity in a different outfit aside from the school uniforms. For Creativity, this is the second time I've seen Ward dressed in the series. For a lot of the other characters, it's interesting though they had a chance to have Earjack and Uda. I'll call her regret because I hardly pronounce the woman's name. Yeah, very beautiful dress she's wearing. She even got a white flower in her hair, and I thought it was so hilarious when Bakuto got his suit. His vest has got white flowers on it. And apparently the Harding guy, he was the one who actually got in the suit. He says, go to the party. Well, he says, he doesn't want to listen to speeches, but he does bring a good point. He get a lot of free food. Yeah, as for why in the world a lot of these characters are here, they do explain some of them. Like Shudo was actually there representing his father's firm, and Genium, because he was only available. Creativity, because her father is an investor or one of the sponsors. Makes sense. And she's had to invite a lot of the girls along. Okay. In the case of you have Pop Off and the electric guy, well, they got hired as waiters in one of the cafes. Bakuto, of course, was already invited because of his scholarship stuff, and Harding Guy just came along because he felt like it. Yeah, then when he gets to the party itself, All Might's there, of course, is muscular form, and he's basically about partway through the course. They also show the bad guys. Apparently, they're after something. It's not at this point they reveal what it is. It's not until toward the end of the film when they reveal exactly what the heck they're trying to steal. Yeah, I know I'm kind of spoiling the film, but yeah, I'm hoping that when people who get a chance to watch this, like my friend Tibia, hopefully he has seen the movie already. Tibia, if you haven't seen the movie yet, of course I'm, spoiling it. Put this in your watch later list and watch it after you see the film. Okay. Then of course the villains come in, they take the party hostage. They had tied up all the heroes in this special capture gear, which could be even used for capturing villains. Somehow the villains got their hands on this tech. They do explain later who actually gave them this tech, and I'll reveal toward the end of the video who it is, who is actually responsible for all the villain stuff in this film. Yeah. And then pretty much like right after they get there, like the security stuff goes off, and they can't exactly access the elevators. Yeah, that's weird. The fact that with the security lockdown, that the elevators don't work. Yeah, as for why that is, they don't really explain that. Yeah, that's one thing never explained. Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh, before I continue, I should basically explain Melissa's reactions to how people react, how Deku reacts to everybody. Yeah, she's like, of course, seeing all the characters the first time, seeing Bakuto and seeing everybody else, like, yeah, according to Order Gravity, this is how he normally reacts to everybody, and that's how Bakuto normally reacts to Deku. Simple as that. Yep. She even asked him what his superhero name was. Says, of course, it's Deku. And she also showed off her lab, which is a little bit smaller than her father's, and she made him a special gauntlet. Now, this was seen in the promotional stuff, and some people kind of figured this out right away because he doesn't have this gauntlet at all in the series. I'm sure a lot of people predicted this gauntlet will be destroyed in this film, and I'll reveal the fate of that gauntlet a little bit later. Yeah. Of course, around that point when the party starts, it's like Deku's like, you're like in Jenny and wants everybody to meet there at 6:30 p.m. Everyone's all decked out in these beautiful dresses, and it's interesting to note that the first of the girls to show up is Zero Gravity. She's the first one to show up. Then it's Melissa, and then it's Creatine Earjack. And of course, now we get to the party stuff. Now, because of the fact they don't have a hero license, they can't exactly hunt the villains. They can basically go upstairs and just turn the security back on and have the heroes take out the villains. They do fight a few of the thugs, not many of them. I know that Bakuto and Harding get chance, and of course Shudo fights two of them. It takes a little while, but excuse me, they do beat them. Yeah, through. And of course they figure out they're all students from UA. Yep, they figure out they're all students. Yeah, these people are very well trained. I should also point out though there is one character in this film one character from the franchise who's appeared in pretty much the majority of the series. Eraserhead is not in this film at all, in case you're wondering. Those who are curious about their classmates like Froppy, Pinky, the guy who can eat sugar and basically is super strong. Yeah, they don't do anything, but half the characters who pop up in the movie who are not like part of the main five in this film, they pretty much stay in the hotel room the entire time. They're stuck there. I would have thought Froppy would be good to help, but nope, we just have Deku, or Gravity, Ingenium, Earjack, the electric guy, Popoff, the Harding guy, I don't remember the guy's name, Bakuto, Cravesy, basically a good about 10 people, and everybody else gets to hang out in the hotel room and pretty much do nothing. I think in the case of Froppy, this is probably for her kind of wasting her character in this movie. I would have loved to see her take on a bunch of robots. Yeah, they actually fight robots. Yeah, that's pretty much what they do majority of the time when they do fighting. They fight robots. But Deku, he gets a chance to take out about 3 of these guys all by himself. One guy who's Quark apparently allows him to turn his hand to these giant swords, and he slices at Deku. Of course, he almost nearly falls on. And of course, when he slices at Melissa, he gets angry and just beats the living and just punches him really hard. He says, Detroit smash. Yep. Of course, he bandages up her arm. Yeah, bandages up her arm. They get up to the top floor. By the way, the building they're in is 200 floors. Yeah, they meant it as a plot point because they first get stuck in the 80th floor, and then eventually you get to the top. Eventually, of course, when it's out there on the first floor, and it's like every 10 floors, like where is this? It's on the top floor, which is, I think is like 2, and they're running upstairs because the elevators don't work. Yep. And of course, then Jen gets a chance to blow up a door at one point with his power. Yeah, and the only way they detected them was by Popoff opening a door. I'm like, wow. That's a very lazy way to have the villains find out about these kids. Yep. Eventually gets to the top. Well, just of course they have Gravity. They have her use her power because they show up before her power using Melissa, and they have Melissa and Deku basically go up to the top, and of course, yeah, she's about to take on the robots, and all of a sudden, Bakuto, a hardened guy, and Shudo show up completely out of nowhere. And they eventually take out the other robots, and of course, everybody else takes out more robots. Electric Guy gets knocked out with the first fight with the robots because he uses too much power. If he goes like 2 million volts, he becomes stupid. Yeah, that's basically his weakness. Yep. And they eventually get to the top, and it figures out. Of course, also David gets taken. Him and his assistant taken to a vault to steal something. What do they steal? A prototype for a device that increases the power of quarks. Okay, this I found to be interesting. This is an interesting little plot device. And the guy who's trying to steal it, appearance-wise, kind of looks like an older version of the Harding guy. Yeah, him and the villain do not interact all the whole film. And eventually, he shoots Dave in the arm, and he's still freaking wounded. I'm like, can you at least treat that wound? It's like, nope, don't treat the wound. And of course, Deku tries to take him on with a helicopter, and this, of course, prior to this, Melissa turned the security back on, everything back normal. All the heroes got free. They took out the villains really quickly. And then they, of course, also when they're meeting up with them, they mention talk a brief conversation about the brief internships prior to the upcoming internship arc, where of course Creative T Base was participate in a TV commercial, earjack, a hijack situation. Gravity was taught martial arts. They didn't really mention it, but I thought it was really nice. They brought up what happened during the training, during the I think I'm trying to remember the name of the arc. It's the Stain the Hero Killer arc. Yeah, it was during that one. Yep. I'm trying to think though. Yeah, eventually the guy puts it on later after All Might destroys the helicopter, and it turns out the person behind everything of this whole thing is All for One. Yeah, he's the one behind everything. Yep. And it takes him a while to actually beat the guy. Yeah, and the way that he was like using like double Detroit smash, it was Carolina smash. Eventually, do beat him after a while. And the guy, of course, she turns to a thin guy. Excuse me. As for what this villain name is, I don't remember the guy's name because I don't remember if they ever actually mentioned this guy at all. And the gauntlet Deku is given it around the beginning of the movie. It's destroyed. Yep, it's destroyed. It's actually a really cool looking device. It's too bad they never could use in the series because, well, this takes place for season 3 before he got that. Before he got special, like long, let's say opera style gloves, which basically It cuts off the recoil whenever he uses his quirk. Of course, Melissa early on had noticed that he had scars on his hands because of previous injuries. Yep, that's indeed true. That was some stuff like the UA Sports Festival. Of course, that's how the kids became known. And after they beat the villain, of course, Midoriya does a pose that apparently is very similar to a pose All Might did in the past. Of him basically putting his fist up in the air and pretty much in the same exact stance, except that, of course, Midoriya actually doesn't have a shirt because his shirt pretty much gets destroyed. I'm like, I would not be surprised if, in fact, that they had a scene they probably cut from the film where the girls were drooling at seeing Deku's abs. That would have been absolutely hilarious. Like, they would partially, I would say that Uragrat would probably be drooling at seeing his abs. Yeah. Let's see, what else? Of course, All Might and David realizes, though, that, well, they see their successors. Unknown what happens to David after this because, well, everybody saves the day, the tower is partially destroyed. Yeah. There's no cleanup sequence per se in the credits, just basically pictures of stuff that happened during the course of the film. And that's really it. It's a really good film. I highly recommend it to go see it while it's still in town. It's only going to have one more. Now, the dub was only going to be, of the days basically here in the area where I am, only about 3 showings are in fact dubbed. Everything else is subbed. Yeah, the dubbing for here was Tuesday. The dubbing, of course, Funimation was Tuesday, today, and Saturday. The rest of days released in theaters, it just gonna be subbed. Yep. Excuse me. I went to go see a movie with my dad. Otherwise, though, fantastic film. I highly recommend to go see it. Alright, so that's really it for this particular review. Excuse me, stay tuned for this weekend. Will be the 22nd episode of this anime review series, where I'll talk about the final episode of Season 3 and the 200th chapter of the My Hero Academia manga. Okay? But until I see you in the next review, bye.